Hi Yatan, here is a quick guidance to help you with your homework that you are being set this term. So I'm going to quickly turn up to what you've been set this week, which is 1.7, actually these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grids are all to help you revise A Christmas Carol, which is what you were doing a lot of last term. So if you think about it, like the first bit is, what did Dickens think we should, why did Dickens think we should help the poor? Key facts about A Christmas Carol, so things like, what is the first line of the novel? Or how many nephews does Scrooge have? This question is a bit more challenging. It's about actually linking it to a statement. It's not how we answer literature, but a sealed paragraph or this style of question is very similar to a language paper 1 question 4 question. So it's all about making sure that you're also practicing your language. Then you've got here a bit of a spelling practice. In particular, there's no character called Bob Marley, but loads of pupils in exam do call this character Bob Marley, okay? And then describe the following characters in no more than 20 words. You've got Bob Cratchit and then the Ghost of Christmas Present. But the next bit of your homework as well is to make sure that you are doing the practice of a paper 1. So the grid here is probably going to take you about 15 to 20 minutes because this one is probably the thing that's going to take you the longest. But then you've got as well to do the following question, which is actually a paper 1, question 1 and 2. So as it says on here, you need to use, like for paper 1, question 1, you need to use lines 1 to 6. And as you can see, I've already highlighted where lines 1 to 6 are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I've got the focus of the question that says, list 4 things, so I'm going to highlight the word 4 as well, that you learn about the whispers. Now, one of the things that you need to make sure that you do for this question is that you write in full sentences and that you answer the focus of the question. So it says here that you need to learn 4 things that you learn about the whispers. So the whispers, like the whispers are, or the whispers have, or they, as long as you're writing in full sentences. Now, you might decide that to write the whispers are, the whispers are, the whispers are, the whispers are. I'm just showing you different ways that you can start your statements, okay? Now, I'm going to quickly read a little bit of the extract for the whispers. And I've highlighted some bits that help you realize what the whispers, because the whispers are not always referred to as the whispers. They're also referred to as the voices. So, let's have a little look at the extract. The Whispers by Greg Howard, 2019. There once was a boy who heard the whispers. He heard them late in the day as the lazy sun dipped below the treetops and the woods behind his house came alive with the magic of twilight. The voices came to him so gently he thought it might be the wind or the first trickle of summer rain. But as the time passed, the voices grew louder and the boy was sure they were calling his name. So he followed them. So as you can see, they're not referred to as the whispers all the time. Sometimes they are them, sometimes they are the voices, and sometimes they are they. So hopefully by highlighting those things, it helps you make sure that you find the right information about the whispers. Now, once you have completed paper 1, question 1, we want you to also try paper 1, question 2. Now, paper 1, question 1 is going to take you about 5 minutes max. And then we would like you to spend about 10 minutes on question 2, because that's how long you should spend on it. Now for this one, you need to remember, and you've been doing it probably in class, is where you are analysing language, and hopefully you may have been using your knowledge book. So in your knowledge book, it tells you how to answer a language question. It's all about making sure that you are identifying the technique, so the writer is using something, that you are quoting that technique, that you're saying how that word or that technique has been used in the source, and that then you use magic circles to make sure that you are analysing and developing the effects. Now, if you're struggling with magic circles are in your knowledge book on page 6. Now remember, magic circles is about looking at the connotations of language. So what is language telling me and how is that creating meaning? So we need to look at the question that you've been set for the homework. I'm going to do a mini plan for you if you're struggling. If you don't want to listen to the plan, you can pause the video and just have a go yourself now. If you're struggling, please stay with me for another minute or two so that you have some ideas that you can write about. So as you can see here, it says you need to use lines 17 to 10. Now I don't need to go back to the source again because actually I've got the lines in here, okay? Now it says here, how does the writer use language to describe the setting? Now when I get a language question, so it's focused on the language, I tend to write or follow a TP paragraph. Okay, so that is a technique, evidence, purpose, and effect. Okay, so I want to make sure that I identify a technique, I want to make sure that I evidence, and I want to make sure that I do the effects. Now to do the effects, I'm going to use magic circles because I want to make sure that I'm saying 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things about one word by zooming in. Now if I look at the extract, so here I've got like the extract, I always like to read it, but I like to make sure that I understand the focus of the question first. So it says, how does the writer use language to describe the setting? Okay, so I've got the word setting here. So whatever words or ideas I choose, they have to be linked to the setting in the extract. So I'm going to have a quick read and then I'm going to highlight anything that I think is about the setting. The whispers led the boy to a clearing deep in the woods where a rotted old tree stump sat in the center and fallen leaves covered the ground like crunchy brown carpet. The boy stood next to the stump, waited and listened. He couldn't see the whispers, but he knew they were there. Their wispy voices surrounded him, ticking the rims of his ear and filling every darkened shadow of the forest. I think it's tickling or ticking. Shadow of the forest. Now, when I look at here, the first thing that always stands to me when I see one of these sources is to see if they've got a simile, and they definitely have got one. And the fallen leaves covered the ground like crunchy brown carpet. So that is definitely about the setting. The setting is about the place that is being described. And what looks like is being described here is like some woods, a forest. Now, by describing the setting like crunchy brown carpet, this is actually quite an interesting simile. Like you've got the word crunchy, which suggests, I suppose, that if I was doing a bit of magic circles, that the leaves are probably quite dead, that is maybe autumn. And so, when I think of crunchy and like the death, the autumn, that maybe there's something ominous. Sorry, I can't spell ominous. Ominous about the setting that's being described, okay? Because there's that element of death. However, the word carpet is quite unusual as well, because when I think of a carpet, well, where do I find a carpet? I tend to find a carpet at home. It's maybe comfortable. So you've got actually a bit of like juxtaposing of ideas, something that is maybe dead, ominous, passing of time, the season, but then I've got the word carpet. Now, if I don't like the simile, and I've got a few ideas with a simile, but I don't know what else to write about that, there are other kind of things that I could also analyse. I've got the whispers led the boy to a clearing in the woods where a rotted old tree stump sat in the centre and fallen leaves covered the ground. Now look about this idea again of rotted, fallen leaves and crunchy. You've got a bit of a semantic field, I suppose you could say, of decay. So again, of things dying. Now in particular, if I think about the word rotted, and again I did magic circles, I would say maybe something that is lifeless. Again, maybe that idea of death, dark. So overall, I think there's something actually, if I'm thinking about that question, there's something quite ominous and unsettling about the setting. Now, it also says the boy stood next to the stump. So again, I think that adds to the idea of a semantic feel of decay, and listened. He couldn't see the whispers, but he knew they were there. The wispy voices surrounding him, ticking the rims of his ear and feeling every, now look at this, darkened shadow of the forest. Now, this is really interesting. So first of all, the setting is described as dark or shadowy, okay? Now, already, shadows are dark. So by using the word shadow and dark, again, it's emphasizing something scary, maybe, something threatening, maybe even something a bit supernatural about this place. And we know that it's supernatural because he mentions these whispers that are calling to him. Okay? Now, when you start writing your answer, I'm not going to give you too much because, especially in Year 10, it's about you starting to gather your ideas and how you want to write it. But if you're struggling, please, please, please use your knowledge book. You can start your answer as follows. The writer uses the simile. Okay, so we've got the writer uses the simile like crunchy brown carpet to describe the setting as having dead fallen leaves. Okay, so just kind of give it a bit of a purpose. The use of the word crunchy kind of creates an image. So if I went to my magic circles, so it creates an image of death, maybe highlighting that there is something ominous about the forest. Okay, so I start thinking about what I can say to develop my answer. Now, I hope that you have found that slightly helpful. Try your best. Only have to fill that page. If you want to do extra, you can put it on online paper. But it's really important that you give it a good go independently because your teachers have taught you this in class, and now it's about you being able to practice independently at home. Okay, good luck. Bye.